Well, this is Dan of Vagabond Awake, and today we're lucky to have one of the most successful young YouTubers from the Philippines on the channel, the Filipina P. Welcome to the channel.
Well, thanks, Dan. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's such a joy. So P, you do something that I would say 99.9% of the YouTubers are unable to do, and you're somehow able to deliver this high quality information that people really need and can use when they're making decisions about going to the Philippines and how to think about it and how not to get into trouble. Just everything. Even you talk to lawyers and all sorts of things. So but you also keep us completely entertained as you teach us about the Philippines. How do you determine what information to share? And then how do you think about ways to keep us laughing as you deliver this information?
Well, first and foremost, when I watched videos about Philippines, all I saw was expat channels giving advice to other foreigners who wanted to visit or live here in the Philippines. And a lot of them are great, don't get me wrong, but I just realized that I had a lot of information to add from a Filipino's perspective. So there were too many topics that just weren't being talked about, like the motivations of a Filipina, what we're really like, or what we're really looking for, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And I always hear it's all about the money. They just want your money and that's all. And there is something much, much deeper than that. I know I could relate to a Western audience because I speak your language and I'm quite familiar with your culture. So when I started my channel, I put myself in your shoes and I asked myself, what would I want to know about the Philippines? And those are the questions that my videos try to answer twice a week. Now, about keeping the viewers entertained, well,
Yeah.
I'm naturally kind of quirky and silly anyway. So why not mix information with my weird brand of humor? People either get me or they don't. So either way, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and your audience, they get you because your channel is soared and you deserve all of your success. And your videos are like hits one after another. So it's a real joy to tune in to see what trouble you're going to be up to each video. So for content development, do your subscribers like ask questions? Do you watch other tubers to get ideas? Do you watch the news? What are there channels of inspiration you study to develop your content? Because week after week, you just boom, boom, just great stuff. What's your source of inspiration?
Well, a lot of things actually, but this is one thing that probably makes me different from other YouTube channels. Not only because I'm so busy and don't have the time, but I purposely don't watch other YouTube channels. I figured that if I watch other people's content, I'd end up talking about the same old things, and I wanted my channel to be unique. And my strategy is to come up with my own topics and my own content and basically not worry about what other people are doing or saying. But yes, I do get hundreds or maybe sometimes thousands of questions and suggestions from both my viewers and my patrons. I'm always looking for topics I haven't covered yet. So that's why when someone has, say, a unique story, I want to interview them. And as for the news, yes, I watch both local and international news, but since I stay away from the topics like politics and religion, that stuff rarely makes it into my videos. I try to stay away from that stuff because I think it's so divisive,
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's I think why people come away with sort of a warm, fuzzy feeling when they watch your videos. There, maybe reality they get enough of that, and when they go to you, it's an entertainment treat. So you have these little skits and outfits and clever ways to make people want to subscribe to your channel. I notice you put skits at the end of your videos. Does the anticipation for one of your new skits and what you're going to be wearing and joking about, does that keep people longer on the videos so they see what mischief you're up to next?
But of course, we want people to watch longer videos, right? But
Yeah.
well, originally though, Dan, my idea was to put something funny or intriguing at the end of every video. But I realized that I need to include a section about liking the video and subscribing to my channel. And I didn't want that to be to become boring or to be the same every video. So that's when I decided to do the little skits at the end. And my very first video, I used a scene from the movie Ferris Bueller, one of my favorites. So I just created my own characters after that, and I have lots of ideas for more characters. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of finding the time to film those skits, because as of the moment, I think I haven't filmed a new outro, but yeah, still trying to.
So when you think one of these skits up you want to do, where do you find your outfits? Do you just throw stuff together from your closet or go out and shopping for stuff? I mean, you have like, I've seen a police in video, like police women, flight attendant, Star Trek, you're a doctor sometimes.
Right. Well, at first I was finding odds and ends from my closet. I got some clothes that I can, what you call it, remodel or something. But actually, most of the outfits I'm using at the end of my videos, the skits, most of them are from online shopping, like Shopee or Lazada. And I actually sewed one myself, like the outfit for Marianne from Gilligan's Island.
I saw that.
Yeah, but before anyone asks, no, the Hooters girl outfit was not from my closet. I had to buy that one. They're actually quite cheap then. It was quite surprising because, well, some of them are from China, but I get some stuff from Amazon as well, because they deliver now here in the Philippines. And most of them are between $10 to $20. But the pirate outfit, that was the most expensive one because it's about $50. And people really seem to like Captain P.
So you seem to be a natural in front of the camera. Do you have like a background in the arts, acting or comedy? Were you in drama club in high school or whatever? Or are you really just a natural in front of the camera?
Oh gosh. Well, thank you for thinking that I look like a natural in front of the camera. But well, if you consider, drama or in an acting class in high school, maybe, but not really. It's not really a proper training. Well, again, this might come as a surprise, but I actually hate being on camera. And if I didn't have to be in my own videos, I wouldn't. I've never been one of those people that walks around taking pictures of themselves and posting stuff on social media. I don't even have any social media accounts except the ones I need for my channel. But no, I don't have any proper training in broadcasting or journalism. It's just self-taught from Google University, I guess. And basically, trial and error. I used to be so nervous in front of a camera that I looked like a deer in headlights sometimes, and I was shaking on the inside. And to tell you the truth,
if you would like to learn how I fired my boss and traveled the world for 16 years and how I pay for things, grab a free copy of my ebook.
And to tell you the truth, I actually still do sometimes. I think I'm an introvert. I'm more of a private person that keeps to myself. So I admit that YouTube was kind of a strange choice.
You often have a very complex and nuanced dialogue, and yet you recite it like while you look into the camera. Do you memorize every word for word of what you're going to say? Or you just, do you have a teleprompter? How do you do that?
Well, I actually do both. Because there's no way I can memorize a 15-minute monologue, So it is so if it's a complicated script with a lot of humor in it, I use a teleprompter so I don't forget any points I want to make or jokes I want to tell. If it's a more casual video like the one I did about my trip to America, then I just have some cue cards to make sure I cover all the main topics. And when I'm interviewing somebody, that's not scripted except for some of the questions I want to ask. So I just roll with the punches and hope for the best.
You do a great job presenting an image of yourself, sharing your content in front of what appears often to be like a virtual background. Is there a software program you use for that? Also on your fade ins and your fade outs, when you transition from idea to idea? Do you do your own editing, and what sort of video software are you using for editing?
Well, the green screening is easy. All I use is a piece of green cloth that I got from a local fabric store here in Dumaguete. And as far as the editing software, I use 𝗙𝗵𝗄 Resolve, which was a little hard to use at first because I'm not really that techie, believe it or not. But after about a month or two, I figured it out. At first, actually, I'm still using Shotcut, the free version, but for the green screening, it's the 𝗙𝗵𝗄 Resolve. I think there's a free version and there's a paid version. So I got the one-time payment for the 𝗙𝗵𝗄 Resolve, and it's mine forever. So I think it pays for itself because it's got a lot of things that you can do. But most of my videos, they don't really need, animations or pop-ups here and there because it's more of a, information, trying to convey information, not something visually kind of snazzy.
So do you do your own editing? And how much do you spend on average per video, would you say, time-wise?
Oh, yeah, editing. Yeah, I do editing myself because the editing part is by far what takes the longest because it's like the storytelling part, and no one else knows how I want to tell the story. So believe it or not, sometimes I end up spending between 10 to 20 hours editing most of my videos. Plus, I'm kind of an OCD person.
So what would you say sets you apart in terms of getting hit after hit? Is it purely the passion for what you do, or is there some process you follow to make sure you're getting both the entertainment and the quality part?
Well, you have to enjoy what you do. So basically, it's really a combination of two things: a real passion for what I do, combined with a heavy dose of OCD, as I have mentioned. So I just can't look at myself in the mirror unless I know I've made the best video I possibly can. And sometimes that means I'm my own worst enemy. For example, I did this video where I used a simple camera trick to make it look like a banana just appeared in my hand. But when I look at the footage, it just wasn't smooth enough. So I ended up spending the whole afternoon reshooting the footage till I got it perfect. And all that work for something that most people didn't even notice, sad to say. So yeah, so I'm glad I really enjoy what I do.
So other than great guests, do you have like a silent team that you bounce ideas off of, or is it purely a one-person piece show?
Well, I'm actually just a one-woman operation, except for having 𝗙cie as my camera person. 𝗙cie is my assistant, but I do bounce ideas off a few, with close friends and also with my patrons to see what they have to say before I do anything controversial. When I was in the US, I came up with an idea for a video called Date the P. It's not really like dating romantically. It's just, I was gonna do a drawing with the viewers, and the winner got a dinner date that it's like basically like a friendly date. Get to know, meeting a subscriber, that kind of stuff. And I was gonna turn it into a video, but my patrons hated the idea, so I totally scrapped it. See, folks, I do listen to you guys.
That's great.
Because I think they're just a word for my safety. But no, in general, it's just all me.
Yeah, I do like the idea though that I think there's a bit of mystery about you, and Date the P is something that would sort of take that mystery away. So I think you made the right choice on that. So
I don't know. It was just a friendly. I mean, it's just a friendly.
Yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean. So for men in my age bracket, who are exploring the idea of retiring in the Philippines, you're probably the most famous person in the Philippines. I suspect your audience, because it's sort of geared to people like me. And does that fame ever get annoying when you're just out enjoying your, daily life, people coming up to you and saying things and that sort of thing?
Well, first, I definitely don't think of myself as famous. I'm just a small-time provincial girl from the jungle who, found something that she loves to do. If other people like it too, then great. There are a lot of bigger YouTubers here, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm not at all interested in fame or trying to become a celebrity. That's about the opposite of what I want. So yes, there are times when someone recognizes me and wants to say hello, and that never really bothers me unless I'm trying to eat my meal and go home. Because it's like I'm eating like, hello. I mean, like, yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay,
No
so
worries.
yeah, I'm actually a homebody, which is why no one ever sees me at bars or clubs. So if you ever see me when I'm out and about, just come over and say hello and say hi, unless, of course, there's food in front of me. So yeah,
That's great.
that's
So
the
you
only
mentioned
exception. That's the only
that's it.
exception.
Okay, good. Now you mentioned two things that have to do with my next question. One is the USA,
Mhm.
and also that you're kind of a homebody. And so for my last question, so you just toured around the US. At the end of one of your videos, the Walmart video, you discussed three things that caught my attention. One is that when you were in the US, you noticed it's a very low density of people. In other words, you just weren't surrounded by people all the time, and that felt different. You also said that there's less traffic than you see in the Philippines, but it's somehow more organized. I also noticed that big difference. You also talk about the silence, like no dogs or roosters, and you definitely noticed that when you the difference. And then finally, you mentioned that you're a hermit, which was surprising to me, although I kind of consider myself a hermit too. But it sounded like that was surprising to me. So it sounded like there are things about the USA you liked, but sort of an odd question. Do you think that people just like being somewhere different than home, like the grass is greener on the other side of the hill, or is this more complicated than that in terms of, your thoughts about being somewhere other than the Philippines, whether the US or wherever else?
Yeah, the grass is always greener, right? Well,
Yeah.
when people go somewhere new, they tend to block out the bad stuff and only focus on the good things. That's why I always caution people to come to the Philippines in person and try to stay for more than just, more than a few weeks, because everything's going to look exotic and wonderful at first. And you won't start to see the real Philippines unless you stay at least a few months. When I went to the US, I tried to look at things clearly and objectively. But the things like the orderly traffic and the silence were just so different that really made an impact. And yes, there were a lot of things I really liked about America, and I hope to go back. And because it's just me, I love silence. I love orderly. I can actually relax and I can just press cruise control and actually soak in the scenery. And like in the Philippines, you're always like dodging. It's always like an obstacle course whenever you just, from point A to point B. It's like it is insane. It is chaotic. Follow the rules.
Well, that's great, and I'm glad you enjoyed the U.S. and I certainly enjoy the Philippines when I'm there. And it's been a real honor having you on the channel and taking a little deeper look into, what makes peace so successful and what the thinking is behind of what you're up to all the time. So thanks so much for coming on the channel, Filipina P. And by the way, everyone, if you haven't seen the Filipina P, it's a real joy. I bet you have, but if you haven't, I'll put a link below. Definitely go over to her channel and browse around, watch some of her videos. You get a real chuckle and you'll get some real information that'll help you when you're thinking about going to the Philippines. So,
Thank you so much, Dad. It was really a joy talking with you.
yeah, I really enjoyed it too.
Thanks. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
As I travel around the world, I write these retired cheap in paradise reports. They include links to where we stayed, restaurants, cheap public markets, expensive grocery stores, transportation information, internet speeds, visa information, weather, and other information. All of this information saves time when you are doing your exploratory visits to identify your own personal paradise destination. We spend hours collecting and preparing this information, so you don't have to. Click the first link in the notes below this video to get an idea of what I'm talking about. Hey, if you liked our video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Any of that would help our business. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.